We're now joined by one of two Republican runoff candidates for the Lavaca County Sheriff seat. We're joined now by Stephen Greenwell. Welcome, Stephen.
Good morning, Catalina. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. I know you were here recently, but
Yes,
since it is election season, it never hurts to get the message out.
For sure.
And to encourage people to go vote.
For sure, no doubt. That is our message now. We did really good in the primary, topped off at 43%. So our goal as a campaign is to rally the vote, if you will. And in fact, we have the governor coming to Hallettsville on the 21st to publicly endorse me as well as to rally the vote. So that's our goal for sure, is to get the voters out once again.
How did it feel to get that endorsement?
Incredibly proud, incredibly humbled. In my opinion, there's no elected official that's done more for the safety and security of Texans, they're by Lavacans as well, than Governor Greg Abbott. So I'm honored and again humbled to have his endorsement for sure.
And let's talk a little bit about Lavaca County, Hallettsville, why geographically it's being hit so hard by this illegal organized criminal activity that's not only transporting weapons and drugs, but also human beings.
For sure. So one thing to realize is you have a major smuggling corridor, Highway 77, that begins in Brownsville. It starts in Brownsville, comes straight through Hallettsville, as well as Highway 90, another major smuggling corridor. But more importantly, understand this, that criminal elements take the path of least resistance. Therefore, they go to where they're least likely to be interdicted. So it's common knowledge. It's common knowledge that the Lavaca County Sheriff's Office is way understaffed. On a good day, we may have one deputy for the entire county. Well, the criminal element is aware of that as well, and therefore they tend to focus on those areas where they're least likely to be bothered, and they can get their shipments of human cargo, drugs, guns, whatever it may be through that area.
So if you are elected, one of your first steps would be to bolster the numbers,
Absolutely.
To increase staff.
Absolutely. There's been some vacancies in the Lavaca County Sheriff's Office for some time now. My goal would be to actively and aggressively recruit, train, and retain the best and brightest. That also lowers morale greatly when these men and women are working, way understaffed, so therefore they're vulnerable. This is an officer safety issue, it's a public safety issue. Plus, they just don't get to ever really take sufficient time off to decompress, if you will.
They burn out and then they leave.
They burn out and they leave,
yeah.
Which has been occurring as well. Plus, again, it's a major officer safety issue, and it must be rectified immediately.
And Mr. Greenwell, Stephen.
Yes, ma'am.
We spoke a little bit earlier, and I was so fascinated that you were involved with the fatal funnel incident with that horrendous tractor trailer carrying 70 lives.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
How has that experience informed all the work that you've seen with the bailouts and all the work that Operation Lone Star Task Force has been trying to fight against this human trafficking?
I remember that investigation vividly. I had actually moved out of the anti-smuggling unit, which is the old INS anti-alien smuggling unit. Moved out to do some other work and was brought back in because of my subject matter expertise. And during the INS days, we worked that investigation. I remember I was really, what affected me most and motivated me most was the human carnage and the fact that many believe that alien smuggling is an act of compassion, and it's not. It's some of the most egregious behavior that one human being can perpetrate against another, and it's not compassionate. It's not generosity. It is absolute evil.
There are victims involved.
There are victims, and truthfully, even those that make it through successfully end up being victims to slave labor, because they are then indebted to that smuggler for X number of years to work off that smuggling debt. It's modern day slavery for sure.
Well, we're truly blessed to have you here trying to run for office with all your years of service as a law officer. I wish you the best in your campaign.
Thank you, Catalina, so much for having me.
It's our pleasure.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, coming up, we hear from more candidates running in the Republican runoff. Don't go anywhere.